everybody. It is again our Monday morning chat about leadership. Today, we're going to focus on our fall schedule at the Dutch Mentor. But more importantly, and I put that headline in there for on a purpose, or with purpose, I should say, is that why don't workshops work? Well, it's simple. I love going to workshops. It's a great time to get together, to share information, but it is like drinking from a fire hydrant. You get so much information in such a short period of time. It is very, very difficult to metabolize and even more importantly, to put it into action. So, what happens on Monday morning? You've forgotten about 80% of that. And the other 20% will erode quickly after that if you don't put it into action by taking concrete steps, by working with others, by implementing and measuring for long term change in habits and behaviors. So, again, workshops have value in a way of getting the team together, but not really all that valuable in changing the habits and behaviors of your leaders. So at the Dutch Mentor, we promised early on to do two things different. One is that once you're in my family, you stay in my family, and I'm available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you cross the hurdles you need to cross in order to bring the best out of you, to be able to climb that proverbial career ladder, to build a community and a network of like minded emerging leaders and leaders who want to give back. And the second promise is that I will not provide you with information that is not also supported with a direct coaching opportunity. So that's what we have done. We have two phenomenal programs. One will be going to cohort number 6, has been successfully run with nearly 100 people over the last year. And the second one that we designed over the last couple, 3, 4 months, the Pure Leadership Power program, which is only a 6 week program, we designed together with Robert Wood Johnson. And now looking forward to working with Northwell, with Monty, with Hackensack, and many other hospital systems across the New York City metropolitan area, where our emerging leaders, those who are primed to go into leadership roles of supervisors and managers and directors in the near future, can get an introductory. So let's go over what it is that we have to offer for the fall. In our cohort number 6, our Leadership Academy, which is set up for those who are already in a current leadership role, maybe outside of their 90-day window, who have gotten to know their people and met the processes or experienced the processes, of which I'm sure they found not all of them are working optimally. But what to do about that? So, in the Leadership Academy, we're going to break it down by giving you, putting you on a journey of 15 weeks of continuous learning and action taking that will be done in an environment where we will very carefully learn to measure right from day one. So, right from day one, we're going to put into place a scorecard where you will be measuring your Zen. What is it that you need to do every single day for yourself to be the best version of you? By doing that, you can really demonstrate how difficult it is to build new habits and behaviors. Listen, we have to be honest with ourselves. We are phenomenally good at making promises that we don't keep. We have commitment issues. 80% of our strategies that we set out to do fail. Yes, some of them are implemented, but they really never reach their fullest potential. Why? Because we don't stick with things long enough to measure them with meaning and accountability to establish new habits and behaviors. So right from day one, we're going to start that with I. And I always say it's very simple, right? That if you cannot keep yourself accountable or hold yourself accountable, how in the world are you going to hold others accountable? Because that's our second weakness, having difficult conversations. So as we get started, and that really is in parallel between the both programs, will help identify your journey. What is your big goal? What are the smallest steps you need to accomplish to get one step closer to that big goal? We'll talk about behavior smarts. And my good friend Mike Frasino will be joining us in the fall for a 90-minute session to really have you understand the difference between upper brain and lower brain thinking. It helps you learn how to respond versus how to react to things. It sets you up for long-term success. And then we'll dive into the core of the program. It's about you initially. Who am I as a leader? Where do I lead from today? What do I think is my real leadership style versus what my perceived? And that is information you'll be getting from your peers. We'll be breaking that down. And the cool thing is here is that we get to do this on a one-to-one basis. Yes, we'll have class discussions. And that's the reason why cohort learning is so very powerful. Not only do you get to present your story, we get to listen to 10, 12, 13 other students in the class and their stories. So we'll learn to relate to each other. And through that process of cross-pollination and learning, you really get a much better understanding on your behaviors. And from there, we will design a path for your desired behaviors, one step closer to becoming that 360 servant style leader, learning to lead with confident humility. And then about understanding what are the responsibilities of a leader? What are the four key responsibilities? What does it really mean? Love those you lead, lead through context and not control, creating this winning environment or working with great focus. We'll dive into that and we'll get to explore how that will best function in your environment, in your department, in your division. And that will be the end of the Pure Leadership Power module. Once we get an understanding of how to motivate people and how to build these genuine partnership, and you're really putting all these new tools together into one. The Leadership Academy from this point goes forward and goes much deeper. Now we start where really the immediate return on investment comes for your organization, the A3 project. We'll be teaching the 7 quality tools, 5S. We'll teach about uh, how to set up a project for success by going an inch wide and a mile deep rather than trying to boil the ocean. We'll be very pragmatic in using an A3 format and diving into the root causes before we just start designing solution approaches. And yes, your students will be exploring pilots within the program itself. And many of them have led to hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of savings, cost reductions, or opportunities for new business plans cumulatively over the last year. And then we'll put it all together and bringing the team into what it is like to work in a rhythm. To be high performance, we cannot all be going at it from different directions. We have to be like a crew. Right? We have to get people to come and work together in order to be able to row in the same direction, at the same speed, at the same time, with one person in charge, but not from a standpoint of being director, but being an encourager in chief, be the inspirer in chief. That's no different for you. We'll talk about daily huddles. We'll talk about weekly rapid fire meetings. We talk about true accountability with consequences and countermeasures, not to be mean or demeaning ever, but to be encouraging and to be fair and to be ethical. And then we'll talk about crisis management. E plus R equals O. We'll talk about your role in case something goes in the wrong direction, like a critical incident at your facility. And I will finish up the Leadership Academy with a class on capital planning and budget planning. Again, there will be ample opportunity for discussion, for having a much deeper understanding of how it all comes together. How can I operate from the top of my privilege and incorporate my teams? Now, remember, a team is not just a team of many. This can be a team of one. You can be in charge of a department. The rules apply the same, right? Finding the critical issues, prioritizing them, and then solving each one of them at a root cause to measure them with meaningful metrics on a daily basis is what truly accelerates performance. Again, the Power Bolt programs is on week 16 in the Leadership Academy or week 7 in our Pure Leadership Power program. There will be an optional report out. You get to be on camera, on stage, putting a comprehensive report out together from which you can, again, learn, right? Your executive presence will improve significantly. Again, part of the role and responsibilities of leaders today is to create hope and opportunity. It's not just about money. I think money is on the list like fourth or fifth as something that inspires people to come to your organization, to stay with your organization. What is far more important is what you do with your team every day, how you lead with love, how you inspire them, how you create hope and opportunity. Take a team member that is a high potential and a high performer. If we ignore them, I promise you they will leave you. We have to engage them. We get to understand them. We need to understand what their true intrinsic values are. We need to think about our emerging leaders, our young professionals within the organizations. Robert Wood Johnson, Hackensack Atlantic, Montefiore, Northwell, NYP, and the list goes on and on. Not just here in New York City metropolitan, but go nationwide. We have lots of very talented people who just got their MBAs and MPAs. They have a solid foundation of worldly knowledge, but they really don't understand because they were never taught how to be a highly effective leader. It would be great for you as the leader to engage them and introduce our Pure Leadership Power program, the 6-week program, to give them a foundation to start from. Give them a journey map on how to get from point A to point B. Just in the last 3 or 4 months, we had 5 people successfully being promoted from the current role into a future role utilizing our programs. I'd be more than happy to share the reference. If you go to my website, thedutchmentor.com, you can read the references from both the Leadership Academy and the Pure Leadership Power program. If you'd like to speak with somebody who went through the program, by all means, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to share that information as well. Again, if you have any comments or questions, you can always post it in the chat section. Be more than happy to follow up with you. You can find me at thedutchmentor.com. You can reach out to me at thedutchmentor@gmail.com. Set up a free consult. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about how we can engage your team members. We can utilize operation dollars. We can utilize foundation dollars for development. We can find ways to work with your education department to use tuition reimbursement. Right? Money should not be the obstacle for you to continue to learn. For you as a leader to provide ways to inspire your team members to continue to learn. I go back to the sad truth. 80% of our strategies fail because we don't stick to it long enough to create new habits and behaviors. There's one statistic that popped up, of the white paper that was published more than anything else, that 87% of executive leaders knew and understood the importance of continuous development of their leaders. Sadly, only 5% of those took meaningful actions. And yes, sending people to a workshop for 8 hours a year is not doing the trick. Sending them to a webinar or to a conference, I love to go there too, but that's not how we learn. Yes, they will get great information in a short period of time, but they will lose it just as quick. By Monday morning, they have forgotten just about everything except for the bullets. I remember when I worked in the larger institutions over the last 20 years, we brought in $50,000 speakers, and yet they were impressive. We packed the room with people. But I also knew that by Monday morning, not much of that was remembered, and certainly nothing was ever put into place. There's no sustainability to that. So instead of just throwing money into the garbage on short workshops and webinars and conferences, think about doing something that is more sustained, a 16-week period of time. Read the comments from the students on the impact that it has had on them to truly learn, and having meaningful discussion in our cohorts. But I think what is even more important is working one-to-one with myself. Having a coach and a mentor who's been there, done that, once, twice, 3 times. understands the complete value stream in healthcare and startups, non-for-profit, for-profit, public health. There's value to that, to have that one-to-one bond. So again, I would hope that you take a really serious consideration to take the bull by the horn this fall. We're starting on September 21st. One program will be midday, the other one will be a little later in the afternoon. We'll start these 6 times a year, and certainly if you're interested for your team, for your young professional team, for your Yo Pros, or for your organization, we can dedicate a cohort just to you. Book a free consult at thedutchmentor.com or just email me at thedutchmentor@gmail.com and let's chat. Thank you for spending 10, 15 minutes with me this morning. We will be continuing our Monday morning chats with outside speakers. And again, if you would like to be part of that, let me know. Real soon again. Have a wonderful day. Feel inspired, be inspiring, and take action. Remember, that's the key failure point. We don't take action. We talk about things, but we don't take action. For those who have gone to the programs, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope you can carry the word forward of the meaningfulness and the impactfulness of our programs. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon again.